Welcome back, everyone, to another episode here in the Deadlands. Last episode, we started work on this moss farm here, which will be kind of the first part in a three-part system. So, at some point, we want to build a super smelter along the road here, and we need to be able to supply fuel for that. But really, to kind of provide enough fuel, we need bone meal. And what I'm thinking is maybe at the end here, we can add a kelp farm that the bone meal farm will supply. And at some point, when I get crafters into the game, I still haven't updated, but we can start producing the kelp block as well. That would just be another block that we can have in stock and stuff for building, right? So kelp farm that will then supply the super smelter over there. So before I can actually get this farm working, I need to make a few modifications to it. If we come up here, we can not really take a look, I guess, but we can point out this piston here. And right now we have an observer clock that fires this piston, and that's firing way too fast. That's actually causing this farm to not be efficient. It's using up a lot of bone meal, and that's just because it's breaking whatever's above this moss block and then bone mealing it pretty quickly after. And I did see a suggestion last episode from, I think, Ravio. Um, Thank you for that. Though I don't think I really implemented what you suggested. I did come up with something, so let's hop into creative and check it out. All right, so I'm here in my creative world where I designed the moss farm, and I've changed it a little bit. So over here is what we have in single player, and yeah, but over here I've implemented my method for fixing the inefficiencies here. Um, so all I did is I took the observers and I moved them back a couple blocks, and yeah, moved the piston too, and adjusted this guy. So I added these two repeaters here, and this does something really interesting. So this repeater is firing very quickly, but this one slows it down, and it can't interpret how fast this one's, switching. So this one just stays on, and it locks this piston in place. So it's preventing any bone meal from being used. So let's kind of check that out. If I turn the system on, see, it sits there locked, and we have the pistons firing a couple times. All right, so I've cleaned out the. Oh no, actually I didn't. I need to clean out the composters here. Put some new ones in. That way we can have like a fresh test here. And this just should be empty. And I've restocked all the hoppers here, so we should see a stack in that slot. So we'll go turn on the system and test this. Maybe, I guess we can speed it up too. And if we come over here to the end, just fun watching everything a lot faster. Producing a lot of bone meal too. And whatever doesn't get picked up gets destroyed. But that stuff would really get filtered and kept. Alright, let's go turn off the system. Alright, so we're done composting. Let's check out all the bone meal that we've got. So we have, what is that, 5 times 64? Plus the 56 that we've got there. So that produced 376. But what we used was 216, so that's 128. Let me do the math real quick. All right, so I did the math here, and what we produced was a total of 376. And this is the bone meal that we used. So that was what, 216 bone meal, and this is what we need to be able to restock the farm, right? So yeah, that's what we need, and this is the profit. So we have an extra 2.5 stacks, and the math holds a little bit. So as long as maybe if this farm runs for too long, it'll run out. I don't think it will, but we're relatively sticking to 43% is what we can keep, and then I guess that would mean 40 or 57% is what we need to return back to the system. All right, so the next steps for this farm, I would need to add some way of getting that bone meal up to here, which we can just do a bubble vader. Though I want to be able to clump up the bone meal, that way we can send stacks rather than just a few bone meal down the line every once in a while. So maybe stack up into a hopper cart like this, and we can actually read the signal like that. So maybe stack up until we get a power level of 7 or so, and then we can send the cart into like a cactus or something to break it. Maybe not a cactus, maybe Ilmango's fast hopper cart unloader thing. And then whatever bone meal doesn't get picked up in this line, I think we will just store away and put into like a shulker box or something. We'll probably add a crafter at some point to craft everything into bone block. That way we can be a little bit more space efficient. But yeah, so this is basically where the farm is now. It's working pretty well. I might do a little bit more testing since I'm seeing that the percentage of what we want to keep is decreasing just like a very tiny amount. So maybe once I get a system to bring the bone meal up, we can then test it again and make sure that the thing can keep stocked and run forever. Again, we do have this bus line, so if it does run out of stock, will just turn off the system. So we have a safety measure for that case that the system runs out of bone meal. So cool. So I'm just gonna continue testing this, get maybe the little other stuff figured out, and then we can just fix or add the small additions in our single player. All right, so we're back here in survival. It's been a few days since I last recorded. I've been working on some other stuff on the side, and we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, so I've added all the little additions here, like the clock on both sides, the safety measure, just in case we do run out of bone meal. But through testing, I don't think that will actually happen. Water streams here to move all the materials to the other end. I've also made the change here to the observers and then the little clocks underneath each module. Here at the end, I have the composters, and this is what we had in creative, but I decided to change it up a little bit, and we're going to test it on this side before I make the change on the other side. And so the idea here is whenever these chests down here are full, these hoppers aren't going to be picking up any more material, and rather than wasting it with the cactus over there, I figured we could just continue to shift it around, until it can't get composted. And that, I had to remove what was it, the chest here. And so the idea is that the material will have enough momentum to make it to the little water stream here and then get pushed over. And, we do that just to keep everything aligned so the hoppers can pick it up. So yeah, we're ready to test. And I think let's get this side going just to make sure. So we flip the lever. Oh yeah, another thing is all the hoppers are full of bone meal. Just make sure nothing breaks. Okay. Alright, something's not working. It's not actually making any bone meal. Interesting. Why is that? I'm really dumb. I just figured out why it's not working. Oh, that's so. Let's turn this on. Did it did it recognize it over here? What happened? Okay. Well, the issue is I need an observer here where this iron block is. I don't know if I made that ooh, change after I built the farm. Okay, how many? Should be 16 observers. So I'm gonna get that fixed and then we can do an actual test. Okay, so everything is fixed now. Ugh, that was really dumb. But alright, let's turn this side back on. My food back where it needs to be. Alright. It did end up using like 1 bone meal per module here, but we should be okay. There we go. Did make a little change so that I didn't have like a second dropper tower. Maybe is this actually filling up now? Yeah, okay. Might just take a little while before it really kicks in. Oh god. Oh, I see. There we go. Well, that should work now. Hmm. Well, okay. That's what we should be seeing now. Just constant bone meal. Alright. So I think it's now producing bone meal that we can keep and all that. Building up a good amount here. And I think we're just going to let it run for now. Let's go kind of work on some other stuff. I think we're still waiting on this guy, though, to... I think I may have put that there. Are we... Cool. So we're full on both sides. So it should keep itself stocked. Shouldn't have to worry about it now. So, alright, let's kind of clean up here. I don't need this stuff. Alright, so we're going to move on from the moss farm. You know, it's just down here running. We're going to just build up some bone meal reserves. But what we're going to continue this episode working on is the exterior to our basalt and cobblestone farm. And I think we're just going to kind of continue this process of covering things probably in the next few episodes as we're kind of adding stuff to this area. I just want to start making it look pretty and stuff. I did do a little bit of work on this side of the mushroom farm. You know, I just did the columns here. We'll get the wall in place at some point, and then I still have to figure out how we're gonna cover the sides. You know, I need some staircases. That way I can get up into, this part of the farm. But yeah, so let's jump into a time lapse and get this thing looking all good. Well, the replay failed again. I got the first part done, which is, what I'm kind of looking at right now. I'm trying to hide some other stuff, but yeah, the replay, I got the first part rendered, and then I had a second part I was working on, and then, you know, it kept crashing the game, and then eventually I just lost the file. I tried to recover it, but well, I don't know what happened. So yeah, awesome, cool, yeah. All right, so the build is almost done. There's still a lot to do. We had a lot to cover here. Back here behind this little structure, we have the generator, and then behind the tower, we got the blast chamber. So yeah, a lot to cover. That's why it's so big. And then we have our storage down here, and I think it's looking really cool. So we left open some space, and it kind of looks like we got windows here. And yeah, so I kind of came up with these cool banners, and let's put them in. So I have 4 different banner types, or banners, I guess. We step back, and then we look at it. It looks like there's like a candle in the corner, and the glow kind of fades out. I think it looks really cool. Cool. Oh, right. So we are also going to put glow lichen at the bottom. I think I forgot a piece of grass there. No glow lichen here. We have the lantern, so that'll create some glow. What time is it? All right. So let's get the rest done here. That way we can look at it at night. Cool. So now we can see that there's a glow in the windows. It looks like there's actually light coming out of the windows. It's pretty cool. Really happy with this build and how it turned out. Put kind of quite a bit of effort into it. I know it's maybe a little bit more effort than this guy. I think that's fine. But yeah, let's sleep. Thought there was something I was wanting to talk about this before we move on, but I can't think of anything. No, nothing's coming to mind. Alright, so while we were building this guy, we let the moss farm continue running, and I kind of forgot about it. So let's kind of run over here, check it out. Yeah, see, it's still running and stuff. It's not broken or anything. I did turn this side off. I was getting lag before I started building. Came over here and I had items just collecting at the bone meal system. So I turned it off so I can just fix it later. But yeah, we've let this run for maybe a few hours, maybe a little more. Still working, still pretty good. Have a large chest of bone meal, and we go check out what we've got in stock back here. These are already pretty full. I don't know why I would need so many carpets, but got plenty of moss. Yeah, pretty cool. It's working just fine. But yeah, a lot of the material was just getting stuck in this space, which I kind of anticipated. I was hoping it wouldn't do that, but I think it was causing me a lot of lag, so I need to fix that. I just thought of something. So let's grab a comparator. Might need some blocks. That work. Should work. So this will probably end up filling up all the way to this guy. We probably want that to turn off. So let's say when picked up something here. When this guy's full. Actually, I need a block. Yeah, some redstone. And now this is kind of temporary. We're gonna install some just thinking, okay, that should work. But we're gonna install crafters at some point to make all this into bone meal or bone block, so doesn't need to be permanent. That shouldn't have happened. Oh. I'm dumb. Put that back. We good? I think we're good. Okay. That was dumb. Okay. Alright, so now, when this chest is all full, we will turn the system off. That way we aren't just collecting bone meal here. That would be bad. Into waste, but cool. I think we're good. Probably add that on the other side too. Cool, so we're gonna start wrapping it up here. I think we've made some pretty good progress today. We got the moss farm pretty much working 100%. There might be a few more changes. I know we'll add the crafters and stuff once, I have access to them and stuff. But yeah, we did some building, and I think it's looking pretty cool. We got some more stuff to add to it. Got to figure out what I'm gonna do with the tower. Right now it's just a blank face, pretty boring. And yeah, so I think next episode we're gonna continue kind of in our 3-step thing, with the moss farm. We'll get fuel figured out, and that way we can start working on the super smelter that we'll put somewhere back behind me, probably around where that horse is. So yeah, cool. All right, so if you made it to the end of the episode, leave a comment, say something, maybe, whatever. Nothing rude. But yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe, maybe give it a share it with a friend. Maybe. Goodbye.